word being the way that we track different civilizations. It's the end of our lifestyle that we know. And I think, when we talk about harakiri, it's an unconscious thing. In other words, nobody's doing it on purpose. It's a very unconscious way of poisoning our own environment, it depends on what you're hoping for. If you're hoping for life to continue the way it is, with 7 billion people expanding population, with all of China and India buying cars, and the amount of pollution that we put out, and the earth having limited natural resources, then that type of lifestyle is hopeless. If you're talking about the survival of human beings and the kind of integrity and survival of the planet, that's very hopeful. My friend Tom Morello always said bad presidents make for good music. Comedians say the same thing too. They always say that when, I remember when George Bush finished his presidency, David Letterman said, "What are we going to do now?" Who are we going to make fun of now? But U.S. politics is a very unique animal. It's very strange. I think they're pretty lame. I think that what I don't like about it is it uses the same competitive aspects of capitalism for people to compete with their talent to get to someplace. Same with, who's that idiot guy who turns his hair over? Donald Trump. His show. It basically kind of, I think him and Berlusconi could be good friends actually. That kind of capitalistic kind of fighting to get someplace, why don't we have executives fight to sign talent? Why aren't there shows like that, It's a very psychological game, I don't like that. And, a lot of people love it though, so to each their own, But I was doing an interview with a Japanese journalist, and he asked me about, we were talking about the song reality TV, and he said, would it be fair to consider reality TV cultural harakiri? And I thought that, I said, please let me use that. It's perfect. I belong musically the most into the world of composing. When I started out in the early days, I started playing music, playing guitar, piano, writing a little, being a lyricist, writing poetry, and as in system I was mostly known for my lyrics more than my music, but I wrote a little music, And then over the years, kind of developing my musical side grew, both in terms of breadth, in terms of variety, colors, and everything. Now I consider myself a composer. I'm doing video game, I'm scoring a video game, I'm going to be doing a number of films, and I like having different tools at my disposal. I was never necessarily in love with any one genre, because I think they're all one genre. There's two genres of music. There's good music and bad music. It doesn't matter what instrument you use, what arrangement, how long the songs are. You either moved by it or you're not moved by it. So to me, it's all having these different brushes to paint with musically is awesome. The favorite thing of what I do, my favorite part of what I do is composing. I feel closer to the world's culture, When I'm in Italy, I feel like, something about Italy is so close to who I am. I can't explain it. Maybe it's the Mediterranean, maybe it's the sun, maybe it's the smile on people's faces. But I don't know. I've traveled a lot, in the last 15, 20 years. And in some ways I feel very like a global citizen. In some ways I feel, I could talk to anybody anywhere and express my opinions. And politically I try to be aware of everything going on in the world. And I feel most at home in New Zealand, physically, and spiritually. Culturally, I kind of feel very connected to my culture in Armenia. Lebanon, my connection with Lebanon isn't very powerful. It's tiny because I was very young, and so there's not that much of a connection. But I went there last year with my parents, and I enjoyed seeing them reminisce about their past and how they grew up and the houses they lived in, and it was very beautiful and special for me. A frog opera. No, I've never done an opera actually. I've never done a choral piece, a beautiful choral piece. I've never done a chamber music, which is kind of smaller than full orchestral, but kind of different. I've never done country. I do acoustic stuff. I just haven't released it as a record, obviously. There's a lot that I haven't tried. I'm not against trying any of them. You know, for me they're just all, you know, different colors. Yeah. Yes, the creative system of a down is many more people. But there's other differences actually. Creative system of a down, I mean, depending on the country, but creative system of a down, I think we did a small analysis one time, is mostly male. Crowd of Serj Tankian is mostly female.
So it's a big
Very nice.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like 80%, but
yeah,
like, you know, probably, you know, we're talking about 55-60% one way or the other. You know, I mean, I don't have that much information about the differences. I know that there's fans that I have that are System fans, that are Serj fans, but there's fans that I have that are not System fans, that are Serj fans. And so, funny thing happened to me. I was in Budapest a couple of years ago, and a young kid ran up to me and goes, Serj Tankian, Serj Tankian. I'm like, yeah. He goes, can I take a picture with you? I'm like, yeah, of course. And he goes, System of a Down is great. And I'm like, thanks. And he's like, no. After I bought your records, I learned that you had a band called System of a Down, and now I just got to know them, and wow, it's pretty cool. And I'm like, that's the first, you know, like, wow. I'm like, so you got to know me from my solo, and then we went back to System. I'm like, wow, that's incredible. I've never heard that. It's always the other way around, you know. It happens.